Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another Boom Thursdays. This week, we have the continuation of our review of the Eltarian War, and that would be Power Rangers number 14. And Jamie is taking over reading for Mighty Morphin number 14. So, I've got a lot to talk about as far as what happened on my end of the book. But what's going on your end right now?
A lot of confusion, but like in a good way.
Okay,
it's weird. So I took Mighty Morphin number 14. For those who have not seen anything that happened prior and want to recap, please check out the video before where me and Tim both did a review for issues 13 respectively. This issue again, writer Ryan Parrott, penciler Marco Arena, inker Marco Arena, colorist Walter Baiamonte, and Katai Ranelli, and letterer Ed Dukeshire. Guys, so I really want to go into this now. Me and Tim kind of talked before, and I told him to take it.
Well, I think people have to remember though that as we're reading this epic crossover between the two series, neither one of us are purposefully reading the other's series right now.
So and that way it makes it better.
Yeah, so that way when we come into it, we can really talk about what's going on Jamie's end and what's going on my end and all of that other stuff. Okay, so go ahead.
No. Exactly how you said it. We both agreed when we started doing this review for this crossover that we were not going to read each other's respective books because we wanted to come in fresh and we wanted to shock each other.
And I think I even said to you the other day, I was like, Jamie, I think I'm going to go read Mighty Morphin 14. You're like, no, you can't do that. No,
yeah,
you have to wait.
After this crossover, you can read all of them and see how they all link together, but not this one.
Okay, so oh, yeah. Okay,
go ahead.
What? All right, so let's see here. So with Power Rangers number 14, with a lot of stuff that's going on in my end right now, Zordon is in this power suit, and I guess that had been created previously over on your end of the spectrum in Mighty Morphin because I'd never seen that before. And all
right, right there, I'm telling you that this is getting good. Go ahead.
Okay, so they're on the ship and they're fighting the rest of Zordon's kind and all this stuff, and the Power Rangers are really giving them the business and really putting them through the paces. And Zordon's like, what was he saying? Something along the lines of, this is, how I've always wanted to do things with you guys. I've always wanted to fight by your side, and I couldn't be more proud of both of you than I am right at this moment. But we're not losing today, because I think Jason was talking about like overwhelming odds and things like that, and Trini is just killing it. And Zed was like, nope, we're not losing today. That's not happening. And they're just pushing forward and forward and forward. And then it kind of shifts back to on Earth, and you have the rest of the Rangers: green, white, black, blue, yellow, again, pink, and everybody else there. And this is the only part that got confusing to me, was like when the Power Rangers on Earth are fighting this other group, I couldn't really keep track of the opposing force, like their Rangers, their main bad guys. I had a hard time kind of keeping track of them because like names weren't really tossed around and stuff like that. But the action was great. And I think my favorite part about that aspect was Goldar's brief fight, where he was fighting that the girl with the yellow insect type wings.
Yes.
And oh my God, like you could tell that he was holding back, and he had to. But when he took this swipe with his sword and just chopped two of the wings off like that, and she dropped out of the sky, I was like, oh, God, if only he would have went a little bit farther. But before I get into the end, in the middle of my book, Jason and Trini disappear. They go away. Zordon sends them off, and Zordon continues to push through, and then eventually makes it to a point to where he's able to either cripple the ship or outright destroy it, and then escapes to the surface of the moon. And before I get into that, I want to hear what happened over on Mighty Morphin.
All right, so obviously you were talking about Zordon having the suit.
Yes.
Okay, that happened at the end of my book.
Oh my God.
Okay, now I'm not going to give too much away of why, but, and how.
Mm-hmm.
But the beginning of my book opened up with, it did a lot of jumping back and forth, which I talked about in our previous review.
Yeah.
Up to that issue, it's been what's going on with Eltarian when Zordon was alive and everybody else, and we're seeing him sitting there, and Doc tells him he's dying. He doesn't have much longer to live, and he's trying to find a way to still go on and fight, this war for himself.
Because that was kind of a big thing that was at the end of issue 13 for both of us last month, and I remember that.
Yeah,
okay.
So it's a flashback to original before he went to the tube and everything else. And Billy shows up, and Billy's like, Zordon, like, what are you doing? Like, you can't give up like this. And he's like, what are you doing here? You shouldn't be here. And Billy's like, I know, we've never had this conversation. Why are you going back into previous memories and thinking about this? Like, we need you. And Zordon's like, all right, basically like, all right, now we have like the mega Blue Ranger that's all four in one standing over him, explaining to him like, hey, we can't have you be, in these memories. We need you in the now. So fast forward a little bit, we have more conflict with Matthew Cook, who's the new Green Ranger, and trying to figure out why Tommy really does not trust him.
See, I got that on my end. Like you could tell that there was a lot of tension there.
Yes, and we a lot of it has to do with him and Kimberly having a past, but they haven't really gotten into it. It's just been like, oh, you don't like him because he dated Kimberly, and he's like, yeah, no, that's not the case. Well,
I think there's more to it than that.
Yeah, and they're finding out he just doesn't trust him because of everything he's done so far, all the choices he's made, and people he's going up against. You can understand it. Then we jump, and Jason's talking to Kimberly, sitting on top of, I forget if it's a roof or a building or something.
Is it a past thing or a now thing?
It's a now thing now.
Okay.
So he's talking to her, and he's like, we got to strike. We have to do something. Zed's going to take over. Like, we can't have this happen. And Kimberly's like, you're exactly like Zordon. You just want to win. You don't want to plan. He's like, no, we have to strike first, or we can't strike at all. She goes, no, we could do something different. And so we cut from that scene to my favorite thing about the whole book so far was, I think this happens after the Goldar fight that you're talking about.
Okay.
Because Goldar's walking away with Rocky, the Red Ranger.
Yep.
And Rocky's like, you have a bigger sword than me. He's like, every time we fought, have you been holding back? Because I think you've been holding back. Goldar's just standing there like, don't start this. and Rocky's like, come on, seriously though, like, if you had the chance, I'm trying to say it like he would, like, it sounds like I'm hearing it. Like, if you had the chance, would you take that blow? Because I feel like you could have done it a couple times to me. And Goldar just keeps walking away, and I'm like, first off, why is Goldar with you? And I'm like, sure, why not? So we're seeing alliances formed.
Dude, yeah, like I can never remember their names, but the white half-sized creature that creates the putties.
Oh God, don't make me blank, because I always have to look his name up.
Right, and then
just keep going. I know what it is.
And then the other one with the monocle, I can't remember his name either.
Yeah,
they're in my book. They're fighting alongside the Rangers.
Yeah, they were fighting in mine too.
Yeah, and the putties are in there too, and they break out this one character that they need. I think she was the one that was coming after the Rangers in the previous issue, and she was locked up, and the putties just went right through the laser protection grid like it was nothing, and broke her out and all that stuff. It was really cool.
It's Finster, by the way.
Finster, that's right.
Yes, Finster. But it seems like there's a lot of it. The guy with the monocle. Now I can't remember his name. I've been a fan for so long, and we talk about it. It's like,
I know.
Oh, all these characters now because they made such a big universe. But he even says like, we need to stop Zed. No one's ever we've only, and this is leading with the Goldar thing. He's like, we've only fought to a certain extent, we never actually really put everything into it.
No.
And I'm sitting there thinking, like, they're going to kill Zed. Like, this is the moment. Like, this is going to happen. And so Jason's sitting there like, okay, with the whole team, Goldar included. And he's like, I've learned that we can't just go in and basically strike first. Like, we need to move forward. And I'm like, oh, okay, so what are we doing? And then the next couple pages is literally just kind of some filler. And then
Mine was all action.
You have Zordon walk in with the suit. And that was my ending.
Okay, so your book takes place before mine then.
I do believe so.
So all of the events that take place in your book take place before mine. So as mine progresses, it's in the middle of that battle.
Right.
And all of that stuff. And they're on the ship and doing everything. So at the end, which I didn't want to go into until now, you have the Rangers who have given as much as they've taken from the opposing forces.
Right.
And Zardes shows up with the Imperials, right? And he's like, normally, all I would do is just wipe the slate clean on any particular world and leave enough for things to start over. But Earth has annoyed me to such an extent that I'm just going to destroy the whole planet. And Kimberly is right there. It's like masked center. And she's like, before you do that, you may want to ask those guys behind you if it's okay. And it just pans out to Megazords, like the Dragon Zord, and that the Power Rangers, the team that I'm reading, their Zords, and a couple of other ones back there too, and they are just ready to bust. And then, as kind of like a little bit of an epilogue, it switches over to, like I said before, Zordon going to the moon, to the surface of the moon. And he's reaching out to Alpha, and he's like, okay, I've got a couple of minutes. I can take a break. I can take a rest. And then you see this word bubble pop up, and you don't see anybody there for a second. And the word bubble's like, no, I don't think you're going to get any sort of rest. And it just goes to a full page spread of Zed standing there, staff, Big Z, everything. And he's like, yeah, I'm going to kill you right now. And I was like,
yeah,
whoa, that blew me away. So I'm very, very excited to see what comes next month, because I think a lot of dirt is going to fly.
Yeah, it definitely will. And like I said, yours had more excitement. I think mine was the exciting one the last time, and yours is more this time.
Yeah, yours was more the story builder.
Yeah, it jumped from differences on both issues. So it kind of gave each other like that leniency, but also gave it the action for yours, and then it came back for mine.
Nice. Okay, so let's talk grades here for a second. What are your grades for writing and art, and then your overall? How do you feel about it?
Writing, I felt like this was more of a filler issue for me.
Mm-hmm.
The last time we read it, I believe I gave it like a 9.5 or 10. I think it was 10.
I think so. Yeah, I think we were 10 across the board.
For this one, definitely the writing, I'd give probably an 8.5.
Okay.
Just because it was filler, and I think I needed more context, which is from you, obviously, where I failed to have. And then art, I'm gonna go with a 10 again. Like, it looked beautiful the whole way through. Everyone looked great. So overall, I think I'm at like a 9.
Yeah.
For this issue.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, well, that's great. That's great. So a 9 out of 10 for Mighty Morphin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as Power Rangers goes, this is what I'm going to say. So for my writing grade, it gets a 9 for me. And the only reason that it gets a 9 is, like I mentioned before, keeping track of who the individuals were for the opposing team. That was a little bit difficult for me, and I just kind of felt like I was winging it as far as trying to keep track of who they were and stuff like that. And eventually I just gave up, and I was like, well, they're going to get beaten up anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
As they do.
Yeah. So beyond that, it gets a 9. The writing in this was very, very solid. Trini, once again, is my favorite character in this series right now. I am so in love with how she is being portrayed, and she is being portrayed as this absolute unit of a leader. And
I love how you use absolute unit.
well, I mean, it's just so cool to see what they're doing with her, because I think I mentioned to you before, like in the TV show, I never really felt like Trini as a character got her just deserves. Like, she was just kind of there in the middle. Yeah, she did things and she did cool things sometimes, but I think overall she was just in the mix of the team. Well, here she is very much in the front, and I think when it comes to battles and stuff like that, she's more in charge than Jason is. So I really dig that, and I really love what Ryan Parrott is doing as far as with Trini goes, and I really can't wait to see what more they do, what more he does with her. So 9 out of 10 for writing. Artwork, once again, straight 10. Francesco Mortarino's artwork is beautiful. It is wonderful. This gives me the visual representation of what I wanted a Power Rangers comic book to be. And I can never speak highly enough of the work that he does, and it is absolutely fantastic. As far as like with the inks and colors and letters go for my creative team, he had some inking assistance from Christian Prunesti. Colors go to Raul Angulo, and letters are to the immortal Ed Dukeshire, because he letters everything at Boom.
Everything. Like, every time we've ever had a tag, the letter is Ed. Like, shout out to Ed. You know, thank you always for liking our stuff, by the way.
Ed, you're doing wonderful. I can read it very clearly. It looks absolutely beautiful. The lettering gets a 10 out of 10 every issue.
Every issue.
So my overall for the Power Rangers number 14 gets a 9.5 out of 10 for me.
Awesome.
So we're right along the same lines. 9 out of 10 for Mighty Morphin, 9.5 for regular Power Rangers. Fantastic.
Yes. And like I said, I just see it getting better. We have issue 15 coming out this month.
Soon, I believe so.
And I think they come out the same day.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, see, I already talked to my local comic shop about making sure that I get Power Rangers at least on my pull list. I was able to grab this one off the rack, but from here forward, it's there. So,
and why wouldn't it be?
Dude, you know? It has to be. Okay, so Jamie, before we get out of here, you got anything else you want to say?
Just as usual, guys, you know, comment, like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of these episodes, especially for Boom Thursdays. We're always coming with a punch. And keep a lookout for more content and more fun is all I'm going to say right now.
Right on. All right, guys. Once again, don't forget to follow us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, here on YouTube, over on Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. All you have to do is type in the Codex Podcast or Codex Podcast, and you will find us there. And also, don't forget, we are on Spotify. So if you don't like to look at our faces, but you love to hear our awesome voices, you can listen to us on Spotify now. All episodes are up to date and current. And there is the one shot that Sonny did with Casey Gilly on Spotify. And there will be a link provided in the description below, so you can go ahead and go there. Also, right here on the YouTube channel, all you have to do is go into the About section, and there is the link for Spotify as well. All right, once again, guys, this is Boom Thursdays. I'm Tim. This guy over here is Jamie, and we will see you guys next time.